ILO dates from 1919. This is the first time in the history of this great organization that we have a former trade union leader who was our world leader until recently as the Director General of the ILO. It was a tough fight, 6 rounds of elections, and Guy made it over the line. So that's it's a massive achievement, and he's got a huge responsibility on his shoulders because he's really our angel in the whole field of union rights and collective bargaining. Yeah. He's also in love with sport. I've never actually seen him practice any sport. In fact, when I ring him up, there's an admission, there's a connection. It's the Oxford connection. They played in the same cricket team. Sorry, is it Cambridge? Sorry, Cambridge. They played. Oh, jeez, I have to back briefing. Which blue is it? Cambridge's blue. Anyway, there we are. Anyway, so you actually played cricket together. We did. But you didn't remember, either of you.
We've changed a wee bit.
Anyway, Guy, we have a World Athlete Summit.
Brilliant.
Before you, you have representatives from the professional world of sport. But all these people here are pioneers, and they're doing something to organize the world of sport from across the panorama, from soccer to rugby to baseball, handball, alpine sports, ice hockey. Everything is represented here.
Basketball.
I always worry about missing it out.
Anyway, you can overlook that.
It is at a time when people say, where's this movement going of ours? Can we appeal? There's a huge appeal here, and there are heroes amongst us, and there are pioneers amongst us, and we wanted to get this message to you early on in your new position as the Director General of the International Labour Office. This place is very special, and as you will discover, we've adopted this notion of Team 87, because none of us can do this job without the respect of 87. So in that sense, Walter, please, can you? Yeah, go over there. Yeah.
So one of the things too I'd like to say is that when you look at sport, it's very easy to be blinded by the bright lights, right? I mean, people outside who don't have a real appreciation for it. And so all of us as athletes, and many of us as former athletes, I think understand it from the inside. And one of the things I want to emphasize is that the struggles that some athletes have, I mean, when you look at the conditions and things that athletes do face, we did some studies in Europe where we found, for example, professional basketball players had some of the highest rates of severe injury, some of the highest rates of violence in the workplace, some of the highest rates of discrimination and weekend work, and many other issues, and facing issues around match fixing, integrity in sport, a lot of serious issues. And the other thing that everyone here in this room is also working very hard on is organizing, how to organize athletes to bring them in. It's a real challenge because very often, like many other unions, we face some of the same resistance that other unions face. And so one of the things that's going to be important to us is that the convention about the rights to organize, freedom of association, the rights to organize. So in that spirit, we'd like to present you with number 87.
Also, to have a union leader making the headlines, Everton is a wonderful football team, and we've managed, Guy did actually make the headlines, and his football team is Everton, so we managed to get these headlines. This is the manager, David Moyes, and it's really good. David Moyes, Goodison Park is where Everton play in Liverpool. David Moyes raced to Goodison Park following a call from coach Jimmy Lumsden, who had watched the 56-year-old Ryder juggling the ball on the side of the pitch while on a tour of the stadium. So, Guy?
That's brilliant.
There we are. Something to have some fun with.
Brilliant. I'll be at Goodison Park next Saturday against Norwich City, so
Yeah.
I've got my shirt to wear. My daughter wears a Tim Cahill shirt, but there's no accounting for taste. Can I just say one thing serious? Thank you very, very much for this. It's brilliant. Philip and me have been friends for 30 odd years, I guess. We came out of the same movement together. And I think seeing sportspersons, athletes organising, getting involved in our international movement is a fantastic step forward. I think if you love sports and you're sort of passionate about sports, you're right, Walter, you see the bright lights. You see the bright lights and you think all the people who are professional sportsmen have the good fortune that they're living their dream. They've made their dreams as kids come true. I wanted to be a professional sportsman. We have to settle for trade unionism. I wanted to be a professional sportsman, but I know it's not so easy. And you know, you read the newspapers, you see the problems. Again, I'm an Evertonian. I don't know if you saw in the newspaper, ex-Everton centre forward, gone to prison last week.
Yeah.
8 years for drug dealing. A guy who 8 years ago was going to be a superstar. He's in prison today.
Yeah.
And it's a sort of a morality tale of the downside of sport and the fact that people like you have to protect and represent the people who work in sport. It's a job for heaven's sake. The things we do for pleasure, other people do for a job. So fantastic what you're doing. Can I ask you for one favour as you, with your Team 87, you go ahead? You may be sort of very much concentrated on, you know, defending the rights of the people you represent. Can you be aware of the leverage that you have in your hands? Any sportsperson in the public eye who is a model, a hero for kids, has a tremendous capacity to advocate and to help on labour rights for other people. You just get one, you know, professional hero to talk out about child labour, to talk about slavery, things that we work on. It's an incredible instrument for us. Can you think, as you're doing your work and developing your group, just think what you've got in your hands that you could offer us as we try to protect and help other people at work who you know, face the similar problems as you and sometimes even worse problems. You know, 215 million kids still working in the world of work, 60 million slaves in the world of work. Just get one sportsperson to speak out and say, this won't do. You make an enormous difference. So can we ask you to help others as you help yourselves? And this organisation is here to help you as well.
Yeah.
You know
Good
that.
guy. We have to take the team photo.
Absolutely.